Hey there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. If you are one of my regular viewers, you will have noticed on my last episode I covered Nirvana's In Utero, which would be, say, that middle ground of the alternative slash grunge movement, we'll call it. Maybe towards the end of it almost even. But I want to talk about the beginning, the true beginning. And no, I'm not doing Nirvana's first album. God, no. Uh, no, we're doing something way cooler. 1989. Faith No More. Real thing. Hell yeah, baby. Alright, so I did not discover this album in 89. I'm going to be totally honest and frank with you. I probably did not discover this album until 91, 92. And that's just because they weren't getting radio play. I think I may have heard Epic possibly before 91. Maybe. I used to watch a lot of Much Music, but I don't remember. There was a period where I didn't have much music, so if it came out during that period, I wouldn't have seen it. And I believe late 80s, early 90s was part of when I didn't have it. Anyways, sorry, getting off topic. Epic is from this album. That is the big single that everybody always talks about. That is the song that most people automatically associate with Faith No More because it is that kick-ass of a song with that killer of a video. And I'm a little partial and biased because it was Dali inspired, and I'm a huge Dali fan as well. I don't think I've ever had any of my Dali paintings in the background. Big Dali fan. Anyways, getting way off topic. When I did get into Faith No More, I used to have more than just one Faith No More album. I got divorced. I hate to say it, but the rest of the Faith No More belonged to the ex. That one was the only one that was mine. Ordered this one actually later on, I believe from Columbia Houses, or BMG. It was one of them. It was a music club CD order. And that's how I got a lot of my CDs when I first started ordering music and getting into music. And I'm glad I picked up this album. I don't listen to it very often, but of all the alternative albums I own from alternative or grunge bands, and I don't like using the term alternative, because these guys were not the same as garbage, and yet you say alternative, they get lumped in the same as garbage. And I don't mean garbage as in, oh, that's garbage that stinks. I mean garbage the band, Shirley Manson, who I also enjoy the band, which is why I'm using them as an example, and it's probably a horrible example in this case. They don't deserve to be lumped in with grunge either, because they don't sound anything like the Seattle music did. And they often get kind of thrown in with metal because that would be the most appropriate for the time, but they're not really metal. They're heavy, but they're not metal. I really think we need a classification called heavy. You got your metal and then you got heavy. Like Metallica's heavy, especially when you get like Load and Reload, but other albums are metal. Anyways, off topic again. All right. So this is a heavy album. I love this album. It's a heavy album. Great instrumentation on this too. Didn't enjoy the instrumentation as much when I first started listening to it, but that's because it wasn't totally the music I was trying to personify musically. So I just didn't catch. Later on, I started listening to it, and some of the bass hooks in here, man, whew, nice. Anyways, let's get into the album because I'm just keep going way off topic. Album opens up with From Out of Nowhere. Whoo, boom! Killer way to open this album. Just all of a sudden, you're in it, you're going. Grabs you, hooks you, takes you, and you are off to the races. From Out of Nowhere. It's clever! All right, no, seriously, great, smart planning. Very smart planning. And that is followed up with the already mentioned Epic. You say, hey, what is it? Love this song, man. Absolutely love this song. Who doesn't love Epic, okay? I mean, if you've heard this song, you can't not like it. It is a great tune. Awesome. Like, one of those songs that with all the bands that are getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I've stopped paying attention, but this is a band that really should be in there, and it's because of a song like Epic that they should be in there, because there's bands that are in there for far less. Epic was amazing. All right. Falling to Pieces follows that up. I like Falling to Pieces, but it's not... I find it kind of gets lost between Epic and the next song, which is Surprise You're Dead. Falling to Pieces is okay, but I honestly, I skip it most of the time. Surprise You're Dead, I really used to like when I was younger. I used to love how heavy it was, right in your face, you know. There was a simplicity to it. There was just something, you know, very aggressive, punk-like, but not bad punk. Like, it was the right type of punk. Not into it as much as I used to be. It's still a good tune. It's still, you know, when I listen to it, I said, yeah, that's the reason I used to like it. And I still enjoy it for, you know, similar reasons. It's just, I've moved on a little bit. After that, we go into Zombie Eaters. Zombie Eaters is one of those ones where, you know, when I'm listening to it, great. When I'm not listening to it, I don't think about it. The Real Thing. Longest song on the album, tracks in at over 8 minutes. That's pretty heavy duty. Now, this would have been at the end of the record days, beginning of the CD days. So vinyl still would have been very much a planned thing, or a conscientious thing when planning out albums, to a small degree. At least because cassettes still had side 1, side 2. So you still had to balance it out to a degree. And with cassettes, it really sucked when they weren't balanced, because you couldn't just, you know, simply walk over and, you know, lift the arm up, flip it over, and put it in the correct spot on the next side. No, you had to fast forward the tape and stuff like, or wind the tape or whatever. It was a pain in the ass. And The Real Thing kind of gets put in at track 6, which means it most likely would have been on the first side. I've always had it on CD, so it's the only way I know it. And with it being on the first side, it would have finished out the first side, and I think the rest of the songs on the next side don't quite balance out properly, so there definitely would have been some gapping at the end of side 2. But I really dig The Real Thing. The Real Thing is a wonderful track. It's great, and, you know, I can see why it's the title track for the album. It was really smart and well played that way. After that, we get into Underwater Love. Now, Underwater Love is one of those songs, once again, when I'm not listening to it, I don't quite think about it. But when it is on, I actually really, really dig this song. And I mean, really dig this song. It's one of those ones where I kind of wonder how I always keep forgetting about it, or how it doesn't stick out in my mind more. And I think that's more as I've gotten older, it does that. Because when I was younger, it wasn't so much into it, but a really, really, really good tune, you know what I'm saying? And that follows into The Morning After, and I think the reason why I kind of blank on Underwater Song is The Morning After is just filler to me on this album. It's the only song on this album I flat out want to say is filler. Might be the only one that feels that way. Other people might, who knows. Then we go into Woodpecker from Mars. This is an instrumental track. I love this track. Wow. This track is crazy all over the place, and it is like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, man. I absolutely love it. And it sounds like it would be a Woodpecker from Mars. You know, it's cleverly titled because it's titled as it sounds. So it's easy to remember that way. All right, if you are one of my regular viewers and you saw my review for the very first Black Sabbath tribute album, Nativity in Black, you've already heard my views on the next song. They covered Black Sabbath's War Pigs. Now, between the version on Nativity in Black and the version on this album, there is no better version. The one on Nativity in Black is a live track, or at least they made it sound live. If it wasn't actually recorded live, they made it sound live. Now it's always marked as live on there. I don't know for sure. What I will say is the live track makes up, the live audience makes up for how generic the core part of the song sounds. You know, the da. They don't quite have the same vibe, like those little nuances, those Iommi nuances, they're not there. And the guitarist in Faith No More doesn't even put their own little nuances really in there. Like you hear the trademark, so you can hear like, the intended little tremolos and the little vibrato stuff like that. You can hear that. The hammers, the little things, when they're intentional. Wherein Iommi has his natural kind of sound to it, that's missing from this. Like you don't hear that. Like you don't go, ooh. Now when you get to the heavy part, the studio album in the heavy part, much better than the live version is. Way, way better. I really enjoy the heavy part of the song, the fast, upbeat part. The if I don't do that, I'll get stuck in my head. That part's cool on here, but that doesn't make up for the beginning of it. And then the album finishes off with Edge of the World. It's a nice comeback after War Pigs. It finishes off the album nicely after War Pigs, brings it back. I enjoy the tune, but it doesn't leave a lasting impression for me. So for me, most of the time when I think about this album, I think about how it ends with War Pigs. It doesn't, but that's how I think of it. And a kind of cruddy version. Woodpecker from Mars, for me, is ultimately where this album ends. That being said, I do enjoy this album. I don't listen to it too often. It gets thrown in once a year, once every 2 years, stay in rotation for like a week or something like that, and then it comes out. Unless, I'm in a mood for something specific. But yeah, that's it, man. That's how I feel about Faith No More's The Real Thing. An album that does not belong in with alternative, does not belong in with grunge. It belongs in with heavy, because it is heavy, Anyways, yeah. You know how this goes if you're one of my regular viewers. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. That way you get notifications when a new episode comes out. Feel free to hit that like button. Helps me out. Otherwise, peace, love, and take care.